And people are concerned about what's going on. And again, what was one of your top trends for 2024? A golden year for gold. Gold went up last year, 25%. And again, I began buying gold, I think it was like 1978, around there. I think it was like $163.85 an ounce. And you're hearing like the Goldman Sachs gang saying this kind of stuff. So even the mainstream business are saying that this thing is going to keep going up. Look, there's so much global uncertainty, and tracking trends is the understanding of where we are, how we got here, and where we're going. Let's go back 5 years ago. In January 2020, the Chinese launched COVID war. And by the way, that's what the politicians called it, a war, on their Chinese Lunar New Year, the year of the rat. And what did the countries around the world do? Bring those interest rates down to zero, negative, keep them there, and dump in trillions of dollars of worthless money backed by nothing and printed on nothing. That's why we're where we are now. And now all that's coming to an end now. And look at how many countries lowered interest rates. India just lowered them. Canada just lowered them. The UK lowered them. The ECB lowered them. They're all in trouble, all of these economies. And the writing is on the wall. And then there's the wild card. Two of our top trends this year, the Trump card and the wild card. I've been at this for 45 years. Never before have I seen so many wild cards being played. And that's why gold prices are going up. People are looking for a safe haven asset because they don't know how the Trump cards are going to be played and these other wild cards, such as the Israel war, day after day. Are they going to attack Iran? All these wild cards are to be played. Gold is the number one safe haven asset. And also, it's interesting, we've been bullish on Bitcoin only since 2017. And now it's flattened out. The talk isn't about that now. The talk isn't about the cryptos. The talk now is going back to gold. And of course, they also try to bring it down, and that's not a lie. That's a fact. How about that JP Morgan Chase? What did they do? They rigged the precious metals market? Yeah, they only paid $900 million fine. Oh, one of 5 felonies? Slap on the wrist. But anyway, they don't want gold to go up, and now they can't deny it. You never know. They say one thing and do another thing. And maybe they won't do it because they don't want to show that there's nothing there. And what do you got, a $36 trillion debt? And let me tell you a quick story about, you mentioned 1971, John Connally. He was the Democratic governor of Texas that took the bullet in the back sitting in front of Kennedy. He wanted to meet me because in one of my books, Trend Tracking, that I wrote in 1989, I'm mentioning this because it goes back to gold. As we're going back into the Anatole Hotel, he said to me, Gerald, I read your book. He said, it's a fine piece of work. And I know your heart's in the right place, but you don't have a clue what's going on, and neither do the American people. Because if they did, there'd be a revolution in this country. He's the same John Connally that was the Republican Treasury Secretary under Richard Nixon that took us off the gold standard. This is a crime syndicate out there. How dare they say we can't look at the gold? Oh, you're just a little giddy from the Bronx. You have no right. You're not a billionaire. Only billionaires are allowed to talk. Only billionaires can see the president. The rest of you, shut your damn mouth and do what you're told. That's the attitude out here. No, don't tell me you're the commander-in-chief. You're a bunch of lying SOBs. Oh, but you steal my money in taxes. You like that, don't you? You're just a plantation worker of slave land here, so shut your damn mouth. When McKinley was president, he said, what do you want, cheap products or high wages? Once upon a time, it was manufacturing all over this country and high wages. And they didn't have income tax. That slime ball who gave us World War I, the Federal Reserve, federal income tax, and the IRS, Woodrow Wilson invented this crap. So yeah, if you're going to do tariffs, get rid of income tax. This is a crime syndicate stealing the money from us. Oh, and the big corp, all these billionaires, they pay nothing. They got all these accountants that shuffle the money all over the world. They pay nothing. What did Buffett say? That his secretary pays more in average percentage than he does? Oh, by the way, one of my buildings in Europe, I used to rent to his son, Peter Buffett, my 1763 Dr. Jensen house. He has a Novo Foundation. Never gave me a penny for my Occupy Peace rallies that I had up here. The billionaires got all the control of this country. Remember there was this guy by the name of Mussolini? The merger of state and corporate powers? Fascism. Once upon a time, Franklin Roosevelt. Turn in all your gold. A quick story. My father, he tells me, he said Franklin Roosevelt made everybody turn in gold in the 1930s. I go over to your grandfather's house and grandpa's packing up all this gold. I said, Pop, what are you doing with it? And your grandfather said to me, I'm giving it to the president. He wants our gold back because we have to support America. My father said, what are you out of your mind? Don't do that. What did they sell it back for? Like $26 an ounce or something? As soon as they stole the gold, what did they do? They rose the price of gold to what? $32 or $33 an ounce? Just to put it into perspective about raising the price of gold. Somebody gave me a newspaper clipping. Where I am is called the Mohegan Market. It was like an old A&P. 1939, you ready? Family-sized lemon meringue pie, 15 cents, 2 for 28 cents. The penny was worth dollars. Look how much they actually raised the price of gold back then. It wasn't like a $4 or $5 raise. It was like a $100 raise when you look at the value of what the dollar used to be back then. The other thing is, too, we got to look at what's going on in the equity markets. They're not going up great now. Everybody forgot what happened 3 weeks ago. Oh, remember DeepSeek? Oh, you forgot when NVIDIA went down 17% in one day and lost almost $600 billion of value? Because the Chinese are saying, no, you don't need all these big chips and everything else. We could do it a lot cheaper. This is your Trends Journal. .com overload will short circuit many high expectations for huge profits in internet commerce, entertainment, and a wide array of .com services. Following the holiday season, many of today's high-flying internet stocks, the hottest IPOs, newly emerging IPO wannabes will have begun a deep descent from their overvalued heights. We said it would bust by the second quarter of 2000. It did. The NASDAQ dove 80%. When the trends are born, they grow, they mature, reach old age, and die. We came up with the .com bust because the internet revolution had just been born a few years before, and it was over speculation and things that made no sense. The same thing has happened with AI. It was just born, in 2022? Way over speculation. It's a different China now. They are competitors. Oh, you want those H-1B visas so you can bring in cheap high-tech from India and China and other countries? Just to put this into perspective, there's a fact. Before China was brought into the World Trade Organization by Bill Clinton, in 2000, 10% of the Chinese 18-year-olds went to college. 2024, 2/3 of the 18-year-olds now go to college. I'm mentioning this because they're very advanced intellectually, scientifically, technologically, from high tech to heavy industry. They are big competitors now. There's way overvaluation in the NASDAQ. There's going to be a .com bust 2.0, and that's going to bring gold prices way up, the equity markets way down, and we go to interest rates. All the bet on the street is that, they may lower them once or twice more this year. We only go by the facts. Let's go back to 2018. The Dow had its worst December since the Great Depression, 1931. What did Trump do? He forced Jerome Powell to lower interest rates, and he lowered them in January 2019. Trump will force the feds to lower interest rates when the .com bust happens, when more economic uncertainty comes about. And the lower interest rates go, the deeper the dollar falls, and the higher gold prices go. So that's the way we see it. Let's say it's 1910 and the automobile is invented. You're going to invest everything in the first automobile that's invented? Is it going to expand and they become more advanced technologically and become more efficient? You don't invest everything in the first big company, and that's all they're doing. This trend has just been born. Look at the picture of Trump's inauguration, and you got Bezos, Musk, Zuckerberg, all these guys, and they're on their cell phones. Here you are with all these people, and you're on your phone. You go to bars now, people aren't talking, they're on their phone. Going back to AI, it's totally addictive. It is the future. It's a different world. It's going to keep accelerating and a decelerating mental state into AI. As I say, they got it wrong in the King James Bible. They say the meek shall inherit the earth. They misspelt it. The geeks have inherited the earth. An AI freak show, they're taking control. Look at this arrogant little jerk that's the mayor, this guy Adams. All these criminals that get pardoned. Hey, I'll pardon you. Oh, how about Kushner? Oh, he pardoned him, huh? Got him out of jail or whatever, right? I mean, it's a crime syndicate. Where were you? Going 5 miles over the speed limit. Your back light was on. Stand out. Stand on your head. What were you drinking? How many? You're going to jail? It's prosecution to the fullest for we the people, and the bigs get a slap on the wrist. They'll steal our money, do anything they want. It's the decline of everything. I mean, look at the roads. You want to take the subway in New York, it's a night in Calcutta. You want to take Amtrak? How about Amcrap? When I was a young guy, I began flying first class in 1974. I worked for a major trade association. And we were putting on a gig down in Las Vegas. I was living in Chicago at the time. From Chicago to Las Vegas, first class, they rolled down a roast, everybody dressed. And then back then, there were scores and scores of airlines. Now there's no competition, thanks to Jimmy Carter, who deregulated the airline industry. Everything's gone down. They don't care. They're putting as little into it as they want. The whole thing is rotting in front of our eyes. Look at the streets. Look at the potholes all over the place. Look at the bridges. What's like 3 or 4 companies control 80% of the airline industry. They're doing it as cheap as they can, paying as cheap wages as they can, and making as much money as they can. To me, the only thing that could change this, as Italians would say, is a renaissance. How did they say, alla Romana et all'antica, in the manner of the Romans and the ancients, to bring back the quality following the Black Plague? We need a renaissance. We have to bring back the true American spirit that this country used to have that's been taken away from us. And to me, that's the only way it'll change.